Let's break the mold, start believing, and stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. Welcome to Wild on 7, presented by Pilot Games. We're here until it's here.
Welcome back. This is Wild on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast, presented to you by Pilot Games. Did you know that they're the biggest charitable entity in Minnesota?
I actually did know that.
Yeah. And if you play E-tabs, you're supporting your community.
That's what I usually say whenever I gamble.
Yeah. So special thanks to Pilot Games and always the resident OGs. We've got Aquarius, Jimmy's, Duke, Cannon, Wild Construction now, and boom, we have another one, Gem Health. Let's just get right to Gem Health right now. Let's introduce all of our fans to them.
No affiliation with Gem Lake Golf Course?
Well, Gem Lake Golf Course is a diamond in the rough, and they provide a service that not many others can. Nice executive golf course. A lot of options out there. And Gem Health is similar in that regard. Yeah. It's a local Minnesota company with a passion to help those closest to home. 30 million Americans. Did you know 30 million Americans are living with sleep apnea? 25 million of those are unaware of it. Many because they've had a poor experience being treated or testing, and they just stay away from it. And that's what Gem Health is here to do. They're trying to make the barriers of entry much easier. It's easier to get treated. You can be treated right at home. You don't have to go to a doctor. You give them a call. You reach out to them. They'll set you up with testing. And then if you do end up having sleep apnea, they can treat you right from there. So there's no long wait. There's no stressful let's go to the doctor. Let's sit through this. Let's test on the machine. Easy options. Gem Health. You got to check them out. mygemsleep.com. I tell you what, if you have dry mouth, you wake up with headaches, you feel like you need 5 cups of coffee every morning, you might have sleep apnea. And oftentimes it's the partner that recognizes it. You know, John, you and I, we're not quite there yet where we go on guys trips and we share a room with twin beds. But if we were, and you were there snoring, dry mouth, and I noticed this, it would be my job as your friend to introduce you to Gem Sleep. So we've got to get to that point where we're tight and we're on these guys trips, fishing trips, stuck in the ice house. I want to know if you're snoring like that because I want you to sleep better. mygemsleep.com.
I'm confused. You somehow turned that promo into me being better friends with you. So I guess I'm totally into Gem Health as well. It should be noted that when they first approached us in the older iteration of the podcast, I think I was a candidate to do the voiceover because I looked like a person who would sleep with a hose. You know, I had the look of a sleep apnea guy, but now you're doing it. So,
well, you know, what's amazing is I don't think that matters whatsoever.
No.
So my mother's going to try it. And she found out because her Fitbit's telling her that she's waking up quite a bit at night. And ladies over 50 years old have the same, I would say, propensity. What was that word I'm thinking of? But anyways,
propensity
of having sleep apnea as men over 40. So it takes them an extra 10 years. But yeah, my mom.
I always thought the guys who had it are the same guys that break your laptop when you're on the airplane. You got the laptop just in the little line of the chair and the guy sits down in front of you and just snaps your laptop. Those are the same guys that sleep with a hose
because they're angry.
They're just larger.
Oh, I see.
Bigger boys.
Yeah.
They recline when you don't push the button. You know what I'm saying? Should we get into the wild? That was a hot start coming right out with the sleep apnea, though.
We got to introduce.
I think that's what people. It's a good way to start it.
We have to introduce the
Wild have been. There's been some restless nights.
That's part of it too
for the fan base.
We got to get them tested.
We blinked here for 48 hours and put up a couple no-pointers.
What did you learn from the last 2 games?
Well, we've had this theme with this group that you take one person out of the lineup and it messes up the whole lineup. I don't know why that is, but I thought, there's 2 things I would observe. One is when we get into these track meets, I would really like to start winning some of them. You know, when you're in a 6-5 game, 7-6, thinking back to the LA Kings game, the Buffalo game on Friday, it'd be great to get the W in one of those. And then with that St. Louis game, you know, you really noticed Zuccarello not being there. And Carell just just running around the dog track with his tongue out of his mouth. He was just playing all the time trying to get us back into that game. And I felt like we were chasing it a little bit. I haven't seen the team do that. So, yeah, one guy makes a big hole if somebody's out of the lineup.
Well, so I actually don't think that it'd be nice to accumulate the points and getting into these track meets and winning one of these games, but losing them frequently, I think, helps pound in the point that it's different for the Wild. And the only reason that Buffalo game was a track meet is because they got away from the way that they like to play or the way that they're good at playing. And they were saying, okay, maybe these guys in Buffalo aren't actually that good. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and see if we can get into a track meet. They lost that one. So I think that they've learned over time throughout this year that they're not a track meet kind of team. And if they do get into one and win one of those, it actually might be counterproductive because then maybe they feel that they can win these games. That was a positive last year. I think it's always great to think that you're never out of a hockey game. But the thing is you start, and the Wild start playing somebody else's game. So then they were playing Buffalo's game. Let's see who can score more. And that's not the Wild game.
Especially not with Buffalo this year.
And right off the bat, so you're losing, right? So and good teams force you to play their game. And then they're better than you at their game, so they beat you.
I have an overall hockey question for you on this. So a game like that, high scoring, back and forth, is that your favorite type of hockey game? Or do you like, my favorite is a 2-1. I went to the Gopher game yesterday against St. Cloud. They almost had 2 mirror image games up in St. Cloud. St. Cloud won, but it was basically a 2-1 game with an empty netter. And then at Mariucci yesterday, 2-1. And that to me is the steak dinner. The well-played, smart, structured, still some excitement, but a 2-1 kind of playoff-style hockey game. Do you like that, or do you like the track meet?
Well, I think that probably depends on which lens I'm looking through.
As a fan. Like my perfect game is like a 2-1 victory where everybody kind of buys in. Do you like that, or do you like a little more 5-4?
Yeah, I like 5-3 OT or 4-3 OT.
Okay.
7 goals, like I want scoring. I do. I don't mind good saves and stuff, but I want scoring.
You don't like the pitcher's duel?
I want momentum to be changed a couple of times. I want to be on the edge of my seat, not know how it's going to go. I don't mind 2-1 games, but I think even the NHL looks like they agree with me. They want more scoring. They're changing the rules to allow more scoring. So I say 4-3. As a player, I think I preferred the 2-1 games, in all honesty. I wasn't one of those guys that was able to put up a ton of points. I'm sure the top 6 guys were like, yeah, let's get into a 5-4. It's good for arbitration. You get those cookies.
You're just whiting up on it.
But if you're not one of those guys that scores, you're -2 that game. You're like, well, all right, well, we'll see if I'm in the lineup tomorrow night.
Can we go chronologically through the week? Because I don't want to miss the Tampa game was so great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And if anyone was there, I was reminded, I came into the pre-meeting for this podcast today and I said, God, the game ops were so good that night. They were playing the best music, Bon Jovi, Guns N' Roses, Def Leppard, Poison. And then they reminded me it was 80s night. So basically it should be 80s night every night at NHL games. It takes a regular season game. We had an 8:30 start. Everybody was juiced in the whole building. We played awesome. Kirill almost made the goal of the year, put it off the bar, and we were going national. The Wild were going national. We were playing stadiums, not clubs. And then we get this little blip, this little the Buffalo Blues yuck, So where are we at? Like, that was the best. Like, we were going national. You got a shirtless Middleton flying around the internet. It's all happening. And then we have this little 48 hours of pain.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of common. Emotional games, you get these wins, and you can go across the river. And, I think they help illustrate this point because it was the Buffalo game, tons of excitement. Everything was phenomenal with that. They come home. The next game was against Dallas, and they got absolutely spanked. That's the Vikings. I think something similar happened with the Wild. They have a couple of great games against Dallas and Tampa at home. And then they go out to Buffalo, and it's maybe you relax a little bit. The urgency isn't quite where it needs to be. The attention to detail lapses some, and all of a sudden your game starts to change. And what you're trying to do once that happens is nip it in the bud. You know, don't let that cut get infected and then turn into a bigger problem.
Yep.
And we'll see. I think that they tried to fix those things in the St. Louis game. But it took them a little too long. Was energy an issue? Then you start trying to figure out why that was. 12 shots through 2 periods wasn't enough, but somehow you have enough gas in the tank to have an unbelievable third period where it was just like everything in the kitchen sink at Grice couldn't beat them. St. Louis had 3 shots, and somehow one of those 3 found the back of the net, and the 24 that the Wild put on Grice didn't. But that's what happens sometimes, and you just can't let these things turn into long-term skids. But they were great against Tampa. I do think, though, that the podcast, we got a little I don't know how to feel about it, because the TNT show, they must be fans of the program, because they jumped onto the Shirtless Middleton bit, and they're talking about the interviews that the podcast talks about and brings to light, and the 3 guys.
And he was not the guy to interview after that game either. I mean, it was kind of a random choice. Yeah, I think they might be. They're into our notes.
Oh, but the podcast is on it. Yeah, they're reading the cliff notes of Wild on 7th, and well, it's good. It's good for the club. The personalities of these guys are great. What else did you notice over the last couple of games? Erickson Ek, I think St. Louis, he took a beating, and I think he took a shoulder to the face. He went down hard a couple of times.
I don't know if Erickson Ek is like Mr. Bill from the old skits, or there was a guy named like Beaker, I think, on the Muppets that used to blow up all the time. The amount of punishment he takes, it's extraordinary. We really have to get him on, because you can't be that hated just for playing hard. That's what people always say. Well, he's just playing hard. So but he just gets killed by the other team. People hate Erickson Ek. Everybody that's not on his team seems to want to kill this guy.
Yeah, and he's maybe like the least hateable guy there is.
He takes some punishment, though. He got that cross-check to the face. Yeah, he is. Maybe Hartman's doing all the bad things, and they think it's Ek. I don't know. I don't know what happens there, but yeah, he gets a bloodbath for sure.
I think he's just playing hard, and some of them are. He's just unfortunate. Like when he got hit hard yesterday in the St. Louis game, where a shoulder came across his face and hit him. I think it was Achari's shoulder. Achari was just like trying to go back to the front of the net to defend, and Ek was just trying to vacate the front of the net to forecheck the puck, and the two just collide. It wasn't intentional. And then there was another time where Erickson Ek made a nice pass to Kaprizov on the back door, but he got absolutely blown up. This is in the 3rd period. Short side.
He also took a stick to the face, too.
Yeah, I had to rewind it to be like, who was that on the Wild that just went flying? And I was floored. That was Erickson Ek. Like, he's just taking.
Well, that's the difference this year. That dude has thrown his head back more this year, not because he's selling it, because he's getting wounded. Like, they're leaving a mark on this guy this year, because he always he used to just get face washed.
You think he gets targeted, though? Like, you think?
I think there's this, I don't know, maybe this is a compliment to him. I think he has a punchable face. I think he's a guy that bothers people. Like when he's just in your business, I don't know if he's saying stuff in Swedish, but like there's something about him he's an irritant to other teams. And I don't know if it's how he looks or like there's a lot happening there.
This is hard. And I said this to
Erickson Ek,
a buddy that I played with over time who ended up taking some bigger hits, and he was getting chirped for it. And he's a good player, so that he would get targeted. And he's a nice guy, never suspended, like not the way he played. But at one point I said, if you want to stop that, what you have to do is literally cross-check somebody right back in their mouth or do something that's going to have you sit down for a couple of games, but the whole league is going to see it. It's going to be on NHL Network. Everybody's going to talk about it, and then people are going to know that if they hit you or do these little things to you, that your wires might touch, and then you're capable of that. I think that is something that Eriksson Ek hasn't done yet. Is he hasn't snapped? Like
he hasn't shown that he has.
People are testing his limit. Like, where is it? When do you lose it. Because if he does snap, I picture he'd be like the guy that would be able to just like pick up a fridge and then slam it on top of you, then you're pinned underneath it, like old man strength, break you in two, but he just doesn't want to have to get there.
I think if Ek snapped, it would be more like when Ralphie went crazy in the Christmas Story, and his glasses are off and he's just punching that kid over and over again. And somebody pulls him off, his mom's there. I think because he's a good guy deep down. I don't think he's going to like two-hand a guy and take the broken stick and start jabbing his body on the ground. It'd be more Ralphie.
Well, so let's strategize here because I think Zuccarello out right now. He's injured in the Tampa game, and the Wild have a full complement of bodies for the first time all season. So Duhaime comes back.
He's looked like $1 million, by the way.
Yeah, and Zuccarello out. So it leads you to wonder if Zuccarello, if this was a playoff game, is he playing? And the fact that it's a quick 4-day rest kind of tells me that I think he probably would be playing.
I think he's spent a lot of time in New York. I think he's just getting ready. He might have got a haircut.
So he just wanted to race out and hang out with Lundqvist in New York?
No, I just think he's maybe looking at his bag, what's he got packed for, they're going to be in Manhattan.
Wants to look dapper.
Yeah, he's got a haircut. Maybe he did some tweezing. He's a hairier guy, I bet. Manny Petty. I think he's just like prepping for New York. I mean, that's a great trip when you get to Islanders, Rangers, a couple days in between.
So the Wild were able to do this last year with Marcus Foligno and other guys where they could just rest them, and they were able to stay ahead of injuries, and guys didn't end up having extended soft tissue, groins, hips.
Is he being rested or is he hurt?
That's what I don't know. But my point is, if you're hurt but you missed the weekend, but you travel for a 2-game trip out to New York, you're likely going to be playing on that trip.
He's going to New York for sure.
Okay, so you're saying that he's not hurt.
I want to go to New York with Zuki.
Yeah. So the point I'm trying to make is that they're resting players. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. A full complement of guys. So if that's the case, we don't mind now if we break this down. Erickson-Ek at some point is going to need some rest. So Erickson-Ek, go ahead. We're going to give you the green light to snap in one of these 2 games. Take your 2 games.
Oh, you're saying
purposefully. You should take it purposefully and send the message.
Yeah, I don't know what that would look like from Ek if he really lost it. I just don't know if he has that. I don't think he has that gear in him.
That's the hard part.
He plays the right way. I don't think he's going to stab someone with a stick in the eye or anything.
That's the hard part for the individual that I was talking about that I played with, where I was like, you have to do this. Like,
did he do it?
No. Yeah. Eventually, kind of, yes. But sometimes you can't have Reeves do it, or you can't have whatever. You have to tell everybody, I'm capable of this. And then once you're like the wild card and people just don't know what to expect from you, then you get a little bit more grace. But you have to do it yourself, because it can't always be call somebody else out, let's have a chat. It has to be you.
But you're talking about Sweden having the nuclear option.
Well, they don't have to have the nuclear option. I think that they just have to press the button.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I do think he's got a Ralphie in him. I do think he could punch someone until everyone's like, hey, this guy's unresponsive. Stop punching him. But I don't know that he's going to spear someone, or I don't think he's going to get a sussy.
It has to. It would work.
Okay. Well, we'll get him on and talk to him about getting himself a suspension so that he can rest. Between the sleep apnea,
what I'm saying is, like, with it, they're working rest, and I think it is. I don't know for sure, but I think they're working rest into some of these guys. They've got a full complement. It's a smart thing to do. They were short yesterday, so I think it bit them a little bit. But
I hope it is. I hope we walk out of the studio here in like Zuccarello's in like a white tuxedo, like texting Lundqvist and on his way to New York. That would be good. I don't see him missing that trip, man. Too much time out there. I think it was a rest. I'm going with a rest, unofficially, even though we're the official Wild podcast.
The other question I have is, you were talking about Ryan Hartman and how he draws a lot of penalties.
Love it.
Yeah, he takes a lot too. So he plays and lives right on the edge. And what I'm wondering is, and I've been starting to notice it a little bit more, the Wild are the number one penalized team in the NHL,
which is kind of cool.
And that's per games. Yeah, it is
7th Street Savages.
7th Street Savages, but there are majors. There's 10-minute misconducts, but they're taking a fair amount of penalties too. And because of that, I think they're starting to feel frustrated. And they've been on the referees. And it's if you the broadcast you pan down, it's Dean, it's the guys getting upset. St. Louis Blues score the 2-on-1 last game, and guys are hollering at the referee. The refs are missing calls. And that's just a slippery slope because there's only so many referees in the NHL, and they all remember how they're treated and how they're talked to, and teams end up getting reputations. The Anaheim Ducks were the 7th Street Savages of 5 or 6 years ago, and if you go through and see how they were penalized throughout that era, it was a ton. And it's not an issue to lead the NHL in penalty minutes if you're not short and if your penalty kill is doing the job. But the Wild give up a power play goal, and I know it was on a double minor accidental high stick from Mason Shaw, but they give up the lone goal against St. Louis on their power play, second unit, second of back-to-back. Those things start to get you. Are you tired? And you got to stay out of the penalty box. My question is, are they being getting too focused on referees?
You just think that we're on the bad list with the refs?
Starting to be on the bad list. I think we might just have to take our medicine and say, all right, we're going to be penalized a fair amount, but we still have to stay off the referees.
Yeah, the squeaky wheel getting the wrong kind of grease. You might be right. I don't mind a little violence. I'm kind of behind the 7th Street Savages as a theme for our squad, especially as we head towards playoffs. But yeah, I don't want to. I remember when I was coaching the putting the foot on the dasher, where you're like have your foot on the dasher board from the bench and the refs just melt down. Like there's little ways to stay in the good graces of the referees. And I even always thought, I don't know if you felt this way. I always felt like Mikko was super crabby when he was on the ice as a captain. And I did have this feeling that he wasn't getting the benefit of the doubt sometimes because he just seems so pissed off all the time. And like every ref that was around him was like, oh God, but the angry Finn. But if he would have maybe been a little more bedside manner, maybe he gets another call or so.
So let's go to the Buffalo game in overtime. And I think if you watch the overtime, and Dean said it in his post game that they had penalties 5-1. Marcus Foligno, I think, would have had a penalty on the back check. He was trying to take a guy down, didn't get called. But the Sabres took what would have been maybe 5. And on the game winner, I think there was a slash on Hartman, and Hartman went into the goaltender, pushed the goaltender, and that put him behind the play, and the Sabres go down 3-2 and score, end it, no penalty called. It's hard not to wonder, like, why are they not calling those? Is it because they're getting called out, or what it might be? And it might be nothing. It might just be that they didn't want to call a penalty in that spot, right? But yeah, it's getting to a spot where it's like, hey, maybe we should look into this. I think
we should send some gift packs out, some Wild on 7 gift packs.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
We got a bunch
There's
of
a referee room. Just
we know where they are.
Make them a care package.
I think that's a good idea. Some Scotcheroos, which are better than
some sensible snacks.
Some sensible snacks. If we were going to do that, we could go to Jimmy's because they have a variety of sensible snacks, including the ranch dill and spinach dip, as well as their holy smokes dip, which is a smoky dip is what they call it. Put it on a sandwich, put it on a burger, grill outside when you can't tell if it's your breath or the grill that's putting the smoke in the air, and do some Jimmy's. Minnesota company started by a crazy grandpa. We're happy they're on the ride with us. Don't you be messing with my dressing. That was a good one.
So you've moved into the new home.
I have.
Have you got everything figured out, like all your home systems, all the stuff?
No.
Furnace dialed?
As a matter of fact, tried to have so we don't have cable or internet, which is like basically like not having electricity. And the dude came out from the cable company and said there's no signal in the pole behind my house. Tried another one, trudging through the snow, and now they're coming back tomorrow. So I don't know how you send a cable guy out to a home when you know the address, but then when he gets there, there's no signal.
Well, I can't.
Great.
I can't send you the cable guy, but what I know is that I've been messing around in the basement in the utility room, and the humidifier, the air in the house felt a little dry.
Yep.
And the cold weather was coming, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go check on this humidifier, make sure everything's working.
That's good.
And I felt it, and I look inside, and the water wasn't dripping. I feel the plumbing, and it's connected to the hot water heater. The pipe is warm. I don't understand, so I turn the valve off, and then I get my wrench out, and I undo the nut, and then boom, water starts spraying everywhere, all over the utility room, like everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why I don't ever touch
So then all of a sudden this alarm starts going off in the basement.
This is an Aquarius Home Systems ad, or is this something that happened to you?
Well, this is both. It's an Aquarius Home Systems ad. I end up having a water alarm in the basement that I didn't know about. So
why did you twist the knob, or why are you down there with the wrench?
Okay, so it's simple. Like it seems
the air felt a little bit dry. You started opening valves.
If you have a humidifier, they're notorious for getting jammed up and not working. So it turns out that the on-off valve wasn't working. So I couldn't even turn the water off. It should have been a simple fix. I couldn't even turn the water off to stop it, which I thought I did before I did the nut. Didn't. Long story short, Aquarius Home Services, you've got to leave your critical home systems to the pros. I never should have gone downstairs and tried this. Yeah, I should have just called Aquarius Home Service and says, the air in here feels a lot drier than it should be. The floors are shrinking up. The gaps in the hardwood are bigger than they should be. The windows are tight. Let's call the guys and see if they can't come out here and figure it out. Aquarius Home Services, whether you need stuff for HVAC, plumbing, electrical. Yes, you guys all know that my water treatment is dialed. That's Aquarius Home Services. Leave your critical home systems to the pros. Don't make the mistakes that I have made. Check them out, AquariusHomeServices.com.
Wow. But you were also a pro, so it's confusing in a way. I see what you did there, though. That's good. I mean, you were a pro hockey player.
You're like contrary Mary today. You want to just you just want to get into it.
I want to talk about, so you gave me 2 tickets to the Tampa game, your seats, and they're awesome. Okay. But there's some good stuff there. So you were number 20 for the bulk of your career.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that's accurate?
It's accurate.
And your tickets that you've apparently requested at some point are in section 120, row 20.
Whoa.
Yeah. So was that on purpose? You're like, give me the 20s?
I don't think so.
And then, but you got these 2 seats on the aisle. It's awesome. Having aisle seats is great because even when people are coming and going, you don't even care because you're on the aisle. It's annoying to make other people stand up for you. It's not annoying to stand up for other people. That's a true fact. If you ever use your ticket someday, you'll know what I mean.
Seat 17 and 18.
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah, seat 18.
Great seats, had so much fun, great win. And I do have a point here. I think one of the great joys of a hockey game, and I want to know I bet you don't get to do this anymore, but taking a lap in between periods, we've talked about it a little bit, but it's high art. The second the period ends, right up the stairs, you might go clockwise one time, the other way the next time, and you just do a lap. And you just put out the vibe. You see who's in there, what's going on. Did you know anybody? It's a unique hockey thing.
You know what though? So when I do
everybody
take a lap,
does it.
When I do take a lap, you're going to run into somebody
it's the
that
best.
You know. It is.
We play first one to know someone sometimes, which is good. And it's like you can't be someone we already saw earlier. First one to know someone, go. And I just think it's one of the great joys of hockey, along with nachos. But being able to just take that lap when there's nothing really like it. It's kind of like a 7th inning stretch, but 2 of them that are legit. It's great. And you don't get to do that now as an analyst, right? You couldn't get done with a period on Bally's and hop down the elevator, and that would be great.
It would be fun, but then you also stick out
You'd be stressed getting back on time.
Sore thumb because you're in a suit and tie, buttoned up, and
the headset's on, and
you could take your headset off.
You could.
Have you paid attention to the lineup card reads from the locker room?
So Ryan Reeves is madness.
Duhaime had his.
He eats the lineup card when he does it.
Yeah.
He chews it.
So, like, what would be your ideal lineup card read? If you, I think that this should be a goal of Wild on 7th is to get you in there to read a lineup card at some point in time. And if we can make that happen, what would your strategy be? Would it be humorous? Would you bring energy? I'm curious.
Oh man, that's a hard one. I don't think they would want me to do that. Maybe that Arizona game coming up on the weekend here, I could do it. I think I'd have to, because I'm not a known entity, right? So half the people there would be like, "Is that? Does he work for Duke Cannon?" But what I think I would do, the worm would be a way to cheat yourself to victory. So even if your lineup card wasn't that great, like the stuff you're saying, the second I'm done, I throw down the lineup card and I would actually worm out of the locker room, and people would like that. I think.
You know what would be great? I
think
this.
that helps.
I think we'll call it the seal. So we'll put like 5 cards down throughout the middle of the locker room and have tape on.
Oh, and you get up and you read
and you
it.
do the seal and you land your head on it and you lift your head up and it will say like first line or the center.
I can't do that.
And then you do the seal again and then you dip your head down and
no, I'm not able to pick up an index card with my nose.
Would it be with your forehead?
Some people can, but I the worm. I think that would be like kind of legit, right? To do the worm. I think maybe.
Yeah.
But they don't want me to.
I think that's trying too hard. If you're not like, when would you be announcing the lineup? You just do the lineup and then you'd worm out.
Yeah, it's like dropping the mic. And I would try to be crazy doing the lineup card. It's now that I've seen Reeves just screams at people.
Yeah, I know,
and it's like I mean, so that's like a whole different deal. I'd have to kind of think about how to read the names or who you have. Maybe mix in a different language would be kind of fun if you knew it was like a Swede and a Norwegian, like do something like, like with Zuccarello and Ek, maybe get some different languages in there. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a little brief speech,
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is the night.
This is my Super Bowl.
This is the night. If I was a fan of the St. Louis Blues right now, I am hanging on the ledge by my fingers, and we're gonna step on their fingers. Yeah, I think I would do a little speech.
All right, so let's just
speech lineup worm.
Okay, we'll let you do the equivalent to the lineup read right now. We'll let you introduce the guest of the show today, like it were the lineup card.
You used to think the word diminutive was a bad thing.
Vocabulary today
was a bad thing, and then you met the smallest, greatest human on the planet. He's from Edmonton, Alberta. He is our captain, Soy Capitan. He is no soy marinero. He's El Capitan, and we're going to dance La Bamba with the captain of the Minnesota Wild, Jared Spurgey Spurgeon.
What do you think?
B-. I didn't have enough prep work.
Well, yeah.
I did think that no soy marinero, Soy Capitan is a good little riff. I'm not a fisherman. I'm not a sailor. I'm the captain, I think. I don't know the exact lyrics to Richie Valens' great hit, La Bamba.
All right. Well, Jared Spurgeon recorded a couple of days ago. Thanks to him to stopping by. Let's listen.
Spurgey. We got the captain in the house. Duke Cannon sponsors our interviews. If your hair is a weapon, or if you wish your hair was a weapon, you need to find yourself some Duke Cannon. They even got it down in the locker room for the boys, and that's why the Wild are basically on a heater this season, because they're using hardworking hair grooming and hygiene products from Duke Cannon. Check them out at Target or DukeCannon.com. Welcome, Jared Spurgeon.
Your hair's looking pretty good too right now.
Thanks. I owe a lot to this product right here.
What's your grooming routine? What do you do?
Favorite right there.
You like the thick?
Yeah.
All right.
I did a deep dive on your Instagram page.
Yeah.
And I noticed that Danielle did she cut your hair?
That was during the pandemic. So it was a good cut, but it took about 2.5 hours.
So one and done with Danielle.
Yes. Shoulders were burning on her, and it took way too long, but I'll give her credit. It actually.
Okay, so that's not the normal routine.
No. So shower guy, I'm Shower guy, not a bath guy, that's for sure. But
you don't draw a bath?
no, not a bath. Hot tub? If hot tub, I'll go.
I think they take your C away if you draw a bath. Like
but
Billy would be like, "Hey, are you listening to Nora Jones and drawing a bath?"
always need one on the road. But no, just a shower guy. But yeah, so far this is my favorite one.
All right, we're going to ease you into this. This is like when you're in the sauna before working out. Okay, this is rapid fire.
Yep.
We'll go back and forth. We call it rapid fire. Now, the flower didn't really understand that. It took him about 11 minutes to get through this. I think you'll get through it in about 2.
Yep.
All right, nickname.
Spurge.
Cheat snack.
Chips.
Weirdest thing in your overnight bag.
Sound machine.
First concert.
Britney Spears.
We'll come back to that. What do you listen to in the car?
Right now, a lot of Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen.
You have a biggest fear?
I hate snakes. Snakes are one of them. Yeah.
It's your birthday. Where are you going to dinner?
Spoon and Stable.
Pet peeve?
Messy people.
Green light in any NHL city. Where do you want to be?
Vegas.
Go to drink in Vegas?
I'm a tequila guy, so anything with that in it.
Hockey jersey you had as a kid?
Doug Waite jersey, Oilers.
Do you have your own Netflix, Spotify, and subscription accounts?
Yes, we're usually the founders.
So you share?
Yes.
Okay, you're the epicenter. There are tentacles out there of other people that you. Okay, I like
over.
it. Nice.
Is your jersey number and all your passwords?
No.
Good.
I'm good. You got other ones? Let them rip if you got them.
Perfect weekend. What are you doing?
At the cabin in the summer.
Hidden talent.
Don't think I have one.
Gift card from any store.
Jackson Gray.
Last thing you binge watched.
Peaky Blinders.
Buying clothes. Where do you go?
Jackson Gray.
I got to go to Jackson Gray.
What is Jackson Gray?
We got to find out.
Little men's store. There's one in Galleria, North Loop. It's got a little bit of everything. Fancy stuff, casual.
The gallery is the best. Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Who plays you in the movie?
Oh, man. I have no idea.
Good. See, that's the right way to do it. If you don't know it, you just say, and you just on to the
I'm not
next
just
one.
throwing a random person out there.
You also always ask, who do you text the most?
Yeah, who do you text the most?
Wife or brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, brother too?
Yeah.
This is your brother that plays hockey?
Yeah, so he's in Europe, and usually once a day we chat. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So what's the time difference?
He's 8 or 7 from here.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's usually he's getting up from a pregame nap, and I'm coming for practice. So
nice.
Yeah, it works out well.
Peaky Blinders, who are you in that show? You Tommy?
I like Tommy, but I'm a big fan of Arthur too.
Yeah, I like Arthur too. A little volatile.
Yeah. He has a little bit of a personality going back and forth, but just finished it, so not sure what to watch next.
It's a great show. What did you think of the Penguins did the Peaky thing at the Winter Classic?
Yeah,
What do you mean the hat?
They were like the
What's that hat called?
Peaky newsboy, or I don't know.
I think they had the razors in there.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
They probably didn't. They lost.
When I think of Pittsburgh, I think of they're like soft usually. There's no way they have blades.
Blades in there.
Yeah, they'd have lotion in there.
That's worth checking on. I want to come back to the Britney Spears thing.
Yeah.
Your first concert. Are you in a group? What tour is it? Did you buy a shirt? Like, can you kind of ease us into it?
I actually was invited to the concert. So that was,
By Danielle?
No. So I think probably get ribbed on. I missed practice for it too. So although it was actually, I think we were like maybe 10 years old, but yeah, got invited. That was the first concert. I think the first concert I ever bought tickets to was Blink-182 though, myself.
Nice recovery.
Yeah, so
was Britney good? Like, was it a good show?
Honestly, I don't even remember. Yeah. So
Good
it must
answer.
not have been that good.
Good answer.
My first was, I think, similar, so I can relate. I think it was Dixie Chicks, was the old country band.
What are they now though?
I don't know what they are now.
They're called the Chicks.
The Chicks.
now.
Yeah.
Is that what it is now?
Got to take that Dixie out.
Yeah. Can't say that.
That's no good. I went to In Excess Kick. That's how old I am. At the Met Center.
Oh, wow.
Outstanding.
Did they have the boards up? Were they still clear?
He's dead, so that's how old I am.
Woo!
Yours tops.
Yeah, it was great.
Top
In Excess
of the
Kick
first
is outstanding. Mix that in, maybe post game.
Christmas, your favorite holiday. Did you get a chance to celebrate it this year? Because I heard there was a little travel snafu for a couple of people coming out of San Jose.
Yeah, I got there, but it took a while. So supposed to leave a nice early 7:30 flight. Ended up leaving at about 11 o'clock from Vegas. So a good 24 hours in the airports. Sort of bouncing around Seattle. Had a little ice issue, so ended up getting home at like 3:30 Christmas Eve morning, so lost a day there, but ended up getting back in time to see the kids ripping around and run my show as usual.
Now, this was back home was Edmonton?
Yeah, so the entire family left about a week before since we were on the road there, and I headed up after, so it was sort of worked out well with us playing Winnipeg after too, so just went there on the 26th, the night of 26th, and met the team the next morning.
So, I don't know if Danielle listens. She might listen to this one, so hopefully I don't put you under the bus here.
She's listening.
How much of your Christmas shopping did you do on Santana Row? So where the team stays in San Jose is like nice retail shops, and it's a good hotel. And I did notice there was a handful of guys that had bags, and they had done their Christmas shopping right there the day before the game.
I don't think that's procrastinating. They knew they had that built
That
in.
is the option, but I'm proud to say that I actually got it done before that.
Wow.
And I wasn't bringing it home, so I left it here. So
Okay,
I had
nice.
to get it done.
So she didn't have anything to open under the tree in Edmonton. She had to. You guys had to get back
we
here.
did our own little family one once we got back here.
Nice.
So yeah, we left our stuff here, and then just did the aunts and uncles, grandparents stuff there.
Dude, since we're talking about the family, I gotta know, like, you're a dog guy, dog family. Like, how busy is your house? 4 kids? How many dogs?
We got 2 dogs.
Like, is it ever quiet at the Spurgeon residence?
Usually between 1 and 3 on
In the morning?
It has to be
Game day.
Yeah.
Dad puts his foot down
bad.
between 1 and 3.
Yeah, but no, it's chaos. So we're either at a rink or soccer field or something. But dogs are pretty chill, actually. So we sort of picked the breed on purpose. So
Now, I said no like jokes on height or anything, but the dogs, they might be the biggest members of the family. Like, what kind of dogs are they?
Yeah, the Teddy, he's a newfie, so he's on hind legs, is face to face with me, and I'm the tallest in the family, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I staying on the holiday thing for a second. So you host Thanksgiving, that's what I've heard anyway, for the whole team or whoever wants to come.
Yeah, just throw it out there to anyone. And this year,
Can you take us into this? Because I want to know what that's like. Like, I mean, how many turkeys do you cater? Like, are people laying on the ground after they eat because they ate too much? Are there guys that show up late? Like, give me a little of the nuance of this tradition.
there's a good amount. So this year, I think we had like 16 to 18 people. So there's 4 hams, 2 massive turkeys, but then everyone else sort of brought a dish, so that helped out a lot.
So it's a potluck.
Yeah, so everyone brought something, but we had an early game the next day, so that sort of kept it pretty tame compared to usual. But it was a good group. It worked out pretty good because Revo had just got traded the day before, so
He joined in.
He was in there with his family to sort of break the ice, and it's always fun. It's actually easier to host, I find, because then you don't have to go anywhere.
So he's a big dude. So is that why, like, did you have to get an extra turkey and extra ham just for Revo?
Yes, I got an extra ham.
One more, please. So who cooks that stuff? You, Danielle?
Danielle's usually on the turkeys. I don't want anything to do with that, but hams, I actually sort of put them on the barbecue near the end. So
you cooked it all. No, you don't have any outside help.
we did not this time.
Wow.
There's been times where we've asked some friends for some favors, but Danielle's
That's
a pretty
great.
good chef, so she knows what she's doing in there.
So who cleans? Like, who has to do all that stuff? Are you cleaning, cooking, prepping, shopping?
A little bit. It was a sort of a team effort on the cleaning, so that was nice. Made sure we sent everyone home with a parting gift, so a big Tupperware of leftovers. But I think it was actually, like I said, we had an early game the next day, so that definitely helped tame the guys.
You crack the whip? Like, do the kids help you clean, or is this like?
No, I told you they run the show.
How do you get it quiet for the nap period? Do they leave? Do they vacate the premises?
We keep iPads hidden, so that's the only time they know they can use the
Really?
iPad. Yeah,
Headset.
that and plane trips. So other than that, they don't get to touch them. So
Can you imagine the rest of their life? They're going to be like working in some corporate job. It's going to be 1:00.
just hit the snooze button.
Just out. That's so good.
Yeah. So that's the trick.
That's awesome. So run us through the routine then. So practice in the morning, like you're a big nap guy?
Yeah.
Has that always been the case?
Yeah, a lot shorter now than they used to be. I used to be like a 4-hour guy, but now they're like an hour 15, but still nice to get away and just quiet. But now the kids are in school most of the time, so makes it a bit easier.
Should we go into should we ask him the question we were both going to ask him? This Billy G thing from last year, did he do you dirty when he was like, "Hey, what are we here for?" And you were like, "To have fun and go to the Mall of America or whatever." And he was like, "Actually,
training camp." So
yeah,
like I didn't know we're forecasting the full year. To be honest, I was reading the stat pack, and then I heard my name. I was like, "Oh, I don't even know what's going on right now." So
he's etching the Stanley Cup with your name, and you're like, "Let's just have fun."
Let's have some fun here this
week.
Let's.
I mean, it was classic because I saw him do it this year, and I think they even bleeped it out a little bit on the because you were like, "You're not dunking on me again."
Yeah.
I was paying attention this time around. That's for sure.
So he caught you off guard. I like it. So it's basically like being in a college class, and you were just kind of checking your plus minus from the year before, and then he just dunked on you. I like it. It's good to clear the air on that.
Yeah.
I think.
No, some guys had fun with it.
Hey, so we've been spending a lot of time. Last year was kind of this crazy year, all these overtime victories and Superman punches and hat tricks. And this year has been different. You're having a lot of success again, but it feels more like there's been more adversity. You're kind of grinding, you're getting the wins. What do you notice between the 2 years? And do you think how does it feel different, better? I'm just curious about the 2 seasons.
Well, I think obviously with a lot of the games last year coming down to like that last minute for a tying goal or something like that, if it's not always going to happen, and we put ourselves in that position a lot. And this year I feel like obviously the start we had created a little bit of chaos and panic for a lot of people, but it was the first couple games, and it's
amazing how that it was like 3 games, and
it was crazy. So there's a lot of year left, but I think this year, the games might not be as high scoring and stuff like that, but I think we're playing better hockey. I think with more structured, and just whether it's the games where you're up 2-1 and closing it down compared to the other year you might be down 5-3 with 2 minutes left, and we're somehow scoring 2 goals to tie it up and head into overtime.
It feels like playoff hockey kind of all season. When Moose was in here, he said you guys were playing Carolina, and he was just kind of on the bench thinking, they're playing how we should be. This is our style of hockey. And for him anyway, it kind of clicked. And it seems like you've really been on a roll ever since, playing very structured, disciplined hockey. Does it feel, has it been more of a grind, or is it fun, but just in a different way?
It's fun, different way though. But I think, like I said, last year you had those thrilling comebacks, whereas I feel this year, being more in control of the game, you might take to the 55-minute mark to get that go-ahead goal or get that extra one to go up by 2. But it's still fun because I think you see everyone in the room is completely bought in, and we have guys contributing every single night. It might not be one line doing all the dirty work, but it's just different feeling in there.
And do you think it's like the style this year is more conducive to winning? So last year it was exciting. The games were great. Come from behind victories, 6-on-5 goals. And then you get into the playoffs and it didn't go the way anybody thought it would or that you guys wanted. But do you think that the style of playing, the grind that that you guys have kind of been through this year in terms of the start and now the style of play and figuring yourselves out, more conducive to winning games that matter, like playoff games?
For sure. We have a lot of new faces from this year as well, and I think we learned a lot from last year. Like you said, you get through the regular season and you have all those comebacks, and then you get into playoffs and it's a lot different. The game tightens up and you don't have those opportunities as much, especially if you get down 2. So I think for us, that was a big key this year, is playing right from the start and getting that feeling in the room that we can play in those games, and you're not chasing games, you're in control of them. And we know every night that you're not going to have the best performance every single night, but you have to find a way to win, whether that's having a great penalty kill or the power play stepping up, or maybe winning 1-0 or 2-1. It's going to be always going to be hard, but that's the way you win. It's winning those hard games. Like when you get into playoffs, it completely changes, and you have to be ready for that and be able to handle those situations.
We hear a lot of stories about new guys coming in. You reach out right away. Kirill reaching out through Instagram, whatever it was. Where did you learn, or what made you put value in that? And then on the flip side of this, was there a guy early in your career that brought you under their wing in that way? And if so, who was that?
For myself, it was Matt Cullen. He was always welcoming. He had me over to first Christmas when I was here by myself. First year, he had myself and Marco Scandello over. And I think if anyone's ever met Matt, he's such a pro on and off the ice. So he was the guy I looked up to, definitely. And you look at the career he had in the championships he's won, and that's what we all want. And he did that for me my first year. And then I always vowed to myself that if I ever was in that position, that I would do that as well. So I think it's just nice to have someone reach out right away, welcome you in, and then when you do get in the room, you have someone you can bounce ideas off of and sort of familiarity with them right away. And so I would say Matt Cullen was the big one for me.
That's cool. I do think that sometimes it gets lost on people that, hockey players are still people. They're moving to a new city. They're entering a new workplace. It's new faces. There's a lot to it. And there can be simple questions that people will want to ask, like, how do I get to the meal room? And you don't want to look like an idiot, but you got to ask those questions. So it's nice to have somebody that says, hey, man, you need something, let me know, right? And kudos to you for recognizing that. I had a situation similar. I think it was Thanksgiving, and it was Scott Niedermeyer. I think I was actually more scared to go to his house because it was me, just new little rookie nerd guy from Minnesota. And then Scott's like, hey, I know you're sitting at the hotel and there's going to be no food, nothing to do. Everything's going to be closed. Why don't you come on over? And it was like me and then his family. And that was weird. But then after like a half an hour, it really wasn't weird, and you get to know the kids and then his wife and then the family. And man, it was really valuable. I loved that. And that's something I'll always remember too.
I'm pretty sure Cully just had us over so we could go on the outdoor rink with the kids and he could stay inside with the family. So we were out there for about 2 hours. I had no clothes here. It was freezing. I could just see him waving in the window.
That's an old trick. Hey guys, go. Yeah, the kids really like you. Go outside.
Yeah, they love you. They wanted you over here.
Let's talk outdoor rink. So what's the present status? Do you have a name for your rink? Do you deal with inclines? Like, Karts is deep into this world too. Where are you at with the Spurgey rink?
Yeah, so no name for it, but we do have an uneven surface, but try to build it up a little this year so it's better. But a lot of work the last 2 weeks. Got it back to nice and flat, and then nice winter storm today with some rain apparently sprinkled in there. So it's not as nice as this guy. This guy has it top notch. He spends some time out there. So
well, I don't have to nap from 1 to 3 every day, so I actually get kicked out of the house during that time, and that's when I'll work on the rink.
Yeah, it's actually pretty fun though. There's times where I swear I'll never do it again, but when you get out there and the kids are ripping around, it's awesome.
When I used to do it, I did it for about 8 years, and at night, when you have good ice and you're just putting the water coat on it and it's cracking in the moonlight, that is some stuff, man. That is the code of the outdoor rink person. But there's been so many bad years too where you're not patient, because all you got to do once is be impatient, and then you're just doing mortar work the whole year, just trying to patch that one hole. No name, though. I always think you got to name your outdoor rink.
I'm not sure. Maybe we'll ask the kids today, but speaking on that a bit, I think both of us had it about 2 years ago when we got on there a little early, and one of the kids stepped through there and a hole right through, and went out and bought myself a Red Dragon, so big blowtorch that hooks up to propane tank. Dragging it around, just torching everything.
See, I never even thought about that. I just had bumps for that. I would lose a whole season.
Yeah, no, it took a good week and a half, but I was out there every day, went through about 10 propane tanks, just melting it back down.
The Red Dragon.
Not sure if it was worth it, but
I was going to ask, like, your favorite rink tool. Is it the Red Dragon?
Red Dragon, yeah. Especially when you light that thing up and get get that big flame coming out at the start.
So it's like a weed burner hooked up to the propane tank.
Yeah, and I just put it on a sled and pull it around behind me. So it's
seriously
perfect.
Like a mad scientist out there.
So
you put it on what, a sled or something?
Yeah, no one comes out when I'm out there with that. Danielle's hiding in the basement, I think. But,
really?
Yeah.
And the rink is not called the Dragon's Lair.
Oh, we
just because you didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
The Red Dragon.
Yeah.
God, that's outstanding.
Hop over to your local Jerry's, I think.
Can you talk a little
How you got the
tequila?
nickname? Hardware store? Jerry? How'd you get the nickname Jerry?
Clayton Stoner from Seinfeld, the little Jerry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's how it started.
Little Jerry.
Yeah.
That's a throwback.
Yeah.
Tequila. You're a tequila guy. I've heard this before. How about brands? How do you drink it? You got the heavy glasses. Give us your routine on tequila.
I'm straight on the rocks. So,
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not sure how I never drank it
It's
in
a
high
clean
school.
drink.
People just taking shots of it, of the cheap stuff. So I wasn't a big tequila drinker. And then we were in Mexico, and I was with Danny Heatley and a bunch of guys, and Heater said he's ordering a bunch of tequila, and I was like, I cannot have this. He's like, no, we're having the good stuff. And then he had a flight of them and tried them out, and ever since then it's been my drink too.
What's your brand? What do you like?
It's not a huge snob, but just a Reposado fan. So
Okay.
like a Blanco every once in a while. Some mezcals can get it a little too smoky, but those ones are good for if you make a tequila old fashioned. But usually just on the rocks.
You want to know my favorite tequila? What is it? Casa Azul. That's in like the white and blue bottle.
Got the little,
Like the hourglass. And then you can ring the bell.
that one's a top of the list.
Yeah, that's a good one.
When do you ring the bell?
I don't know. Like you just hit it and then it rings.
Yeah, it's just like a
Really?
little bell top. So
I'm not an NHLer, guys.
So
I have like Herradura.
the other thing is the top
horseshoe on it.
the top of this thing looks like a hip joint, and I'm like, because hockey players are notorious for having bad hips. I've got a bad one, and I'm like, I am gonna have my hip resurfaced with a Casa Azul, like the bell on top of the bottle.
you
Like
probably have enough of them in the storage too. Just shove
I
them in there.
just boom, and it's okay. We have to replace every couple of years. I'll drink another bottle. It'll be okay.
Yeah, it's a nice bottle. That's for sure. That's a nice.
It's tasty.
back
It's
of the
smooth.
bar.
Yeah, that's a good display bottle.
Yeah.
Dude, actually, speaking of San Jose, we were in San Jose, and the hotel, like to get to the meal room, you have to walk by like a lounge bar in the hotel, and it's got cool like steel drapes, kind of like little beady drapes. And then inside was, I took pictures. 100 bottles of Casa Azul is the decoration.
Really?
Only decoration in the bar was that
just
bottle of tequila.
Lines the walls.
Yeah.
Ooh, that
Must be a
sounds
good spot.
Yeah.
Never been.
Yeah. Well, it's right there in the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually want to talk to you about that. So entertaining Thanksgiving tame this year, but you've done it in the past. Is it hard like to pick like the right spirits, food, everything for guys that are technically 18 years old to 40 years old, and then from like North America to Russia? Like that's a lot of different palates you have to please.
Yeah, you hit a couple beers. Hard alcohol, you got to get some cheaper stuff for the young guys because they always go
late
to that
night.
one. All of a sudden, Fireball comes out around 1:32, but usually you just don't give them the option.
Yeah.
And they drink whatever's
out there.
whatever's on tap. So seltzers are a big one right now. So you end up finding those. So yeah, but I think if you just put it out there and don't give them all the options, and they just eventually take what's there.
I'd love it, like if it were set up this way, like you and Danielle are the head of the table, and then it kind of goes down, and then the rookies are on the far end, and it goes from like a nice bottle of Camus to like $2 Chuck as you get down.
just a box of wine.
And if they're gutsy enough to ask to pass the Camus, they might get it down at the end of the table. But
These young guys don't respect it as much as they used to. I think we came in and you just wait to get asked, and now they just go and take it.
Oh, yeah.
You might not even get a glass of it, so you got to have all the nice stuff.
You know, you make a really good point, because it used to be that way. Like when I came into the league, I'm sure it was similar, but slightly dying when you came in. Like you would wait for those guys to go through the buffet line first. You would wait for, you get into the city at 2 a.m. You might be the first guy off the bus, but you're going to wait so the vets can take the elevator, get to their room first. That's all changed now. It's all kind of like a free for all. As a leader, like Like, do you bring that stuff up, or do you just like accept the fact that things have changed a little bit?
You accept it a bit. We have our young guys are good though. They wait for us to get off the bus first and everything.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah, I think it's completely different. I think when we came in, you didn't even talk. You just sort of blended in and tried to make sure you're working hard and stuff. But now these young guys coming in, they're such a big part of your team right away that you have to be included, or otherwise you feel left out. And like I said, we have a good group of young guys that they bicker pretty well with each other, and you should just do a 3-piece with the doers, Dewey, Shawzy, and Bolds, and that'd be pure comedy for an episode.
Just give them open mics right here and just let it go
after each other. You wouldn't even have to talk.
You could probably just pull out the iPads and all those, put some headsets on those young kids. You got 2 hours to get all the tequila you want.
Yeah.
Hey, talk about you're obviously captain, leader in the room. Who are some of the bigger beauties in the room? Middleton just fascinates me. He seems like a folk hero on so many levels, and Merrill seems interesting.
Yeah, the D are way better than the forward.
Revo, I mean, you got a lot of stuff. Even Addison, I don't really know. I can't quite figure him out. Give us a tour. We're on a pontoon boat with some of the biggest beauties from the 22-23 Wild. Who are we seeing?
You'll have everyone there, but there's all going to be different groups that you can wander to. You could have Addie and Johnny in one corner, and then Midzy would be just circling, intertwining with everyone. And
he's a mixer.
I think one of the undercover funny guys on the team is Jonas Brodin.
Okay.
Very undercover. Same with Ecker. Once he gets a couple pops in him, he's chirping everyone. So we have a good mix of guys, but I think as Midzy calls Jimmy, he's one of the most interesting men in the world. You never know what he's doing. So what is the backstory, the 007 on Jimmy Brodin? I don't he's just so good at everything. He's quiet, but then you just never know what's going to come out of his mouth. It's either a little subtle chirp at you or the nicest thing possible. So, Slim Jimmy, he's up there for one of the funniest guys for sure.
I like that. Should we go into his IMDb a little bit, some of his commercial work?
Yeah, I want to real quick ask, what does Middleton talk about on the bench? You're his partner.
Yeah.
You guys talk hockey. Is he saying my heart rate monitor's too tight today? It's ripping one of my chest hairs out. What's he talking about?
Usually, biggest one is something about his skates. Yeah, something is always going on with his skates.
Really?
Yeah. So last game we had the early one, so we didn't have a morning skate, and all game he was complaining.
Really?
He needs that morning skate. So it's something about his skates every single game.
No, he's one of those those custom molded skates too. So you really don't have, it's your feet. It's not your skates.
Yeah. So I think he said he had gone a couple games more than he'd liked with
that pair of boots.
Yeah,
okay.
So
it's always something.
Broken down.
It's always something. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So
I want to go to the old school.
Yeah. Okay.
So one of our sponsors, Aquarius, we believe you did an ad for them, right? The big Connecticut
water.
No, I did heating and cooling Tempstar.
Yeah. So it was a different brand, but
a couple plugs for everyone in there. So.
Yeah, that's right. But I remember it's funny when there's a player spot, like Suter had his quick trip eating his favorite frozen meal, and then your family was rocking for a few years on that commercial. Are you going to do more? We had you in some Weird Not Wild stuff, but are you planning to do more acting?
I'm always available, but I think when you saw the effort I put in there,
it was good.
Pretty good. So I think I might leave it at that.
I think just put that back out. I mean, it was strong. Yeah. Did the family like that? Because you had everybody in there too.
Yeah, they were pumped to be on there, but I think they just sort of struggled figuring out how to put everyone into the entire commercial. And then for the Danielle, Danielle
was comfortable.
Yeah, I had to open a water for her, and then she's like, "Why can't I open my own water?" They're like, "Just let him open it when he gets home."
It's a sign of endearment.
Yeah, nice. couldn't drink water all day, but as soon as I got home, I opened it for her.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, we got to get that back out here. Get that on the air again.
Draw us your Not Weird Wild. Is anything weird about you?
I'm sure there's a lot of weird things.
But you're not that weird. Like, that's the issue. You're like, you're not. You're like normal.
He has 4 kids and 2 dogs and naps every day.
Yeah.
That's weird?
I don't know.
Pretty wild if you ask.
I don't remember the last time I napped.
Yeah, that's nice.
I don't know. I got nothing for you.
I want to pivot to your career a little bit because I want to touch on it. There's a mantra around the club where it's not given, it's earned, or however they say it. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Do you think that like that embodies you almost to a T? Because I was talking to the equipment guy, Tony DeCosta, and right off the bat, he's like, hey, make sure you bring up the fact that I only printed 1 jersey for Jared because I didn't think there was any chance he's sticking around.
Really?
So only 1 jersey he had, the white jersey.
Wow.
Would make him the green one.
No, I remember getting called up and sort of just trying the same thing, being quiet and sort of come up, you get your jersey and everything at first NHL game. You're obviously very excited. And I remember putting the pair of socks on that they gave me in my laundry loop, and I think they covered my entire legs. So I went up.
Everything was XL.
Yeah, I went up to Tony. I was like, do you have a pair of smaller socks that I can have? And he was like, no. And then a bunch of years later, he's like, dude, honestly, I didn't think I'd ever see you again. So that's how I got the number 46. And after that, he asked if I wanted to change. And I was 18 growing up, but at that time, I just figured it worked my first year, so I'd stick with it. And I obviously had a great opportunity my first year. We had a great team in Houston, ended up going to the final, and unfortunately, we lost in Game 6. But it was just one of those things where you get an opportunity and you never know if you're going to get another chance. And it was pretty exciting. It was Calgary, so it was 3 hours from my hometown. So Danielle and her family were able to come up. My sister, aunt, and uncle were able to make it down for that one. And I think when you look back, you sort of take it for granted your first game.
Yeah.
And you think you get called up, you're going to be there forever, when in reality you could have been one and done.
Right. No, man, that's funny. So do you razz Tony now? Like this, like.
Well, he always tells me my number sucks, and I was like, "Well, you're the one who gave it to me, so
you picked it, dude."
Yeah. So he brings it up a lot. He'll say he'll take my jerseys back away. So, but no, I think everything was just massive on me that first game. But yeah,
we'll have to get a throwback.
Yeah, it's framed somewhere, but it's probably about a double XL.
Hey, you scored your first goal in Edmonton. What is it about going back to Alberta that all of a sudden, like, you're dynamite? Because it seems like you always score in Edmonton too. What was it? First goal, Hobby Bullen or something like that. Yeah.
Go
back home, you dominate.
That was pretty cool to score there, obviously in front of family and friends. And my grandpa had season tickets growing up, so there's some special memories walking into that old Rexall arena. So I'm not sure. I think he was with me. It had passed the year prior, so he wasn't able to see the game. So I think he was definitely in that building that night.
Another shout out to Duke Cannon, because what Edmonton does have is the worst products ever in the locker room. Yeah. The deodorant and I don't know why, it was like Rite Aid or something.
Is it like spray?
It's spray, but you put it in your armpit and it was like hairspray with needles.
Yeah,
like it was. Yeah. It's bad, no right? It's terrible there.
Yeah, it's improved since the new building, but it's still not the best. But
that's the bad health club stuff. Yeah, where it just burns.
You dry off with a postage stamp towel and then you spray needles into your armpits after. It was terrible.
Did you ever do the Calgary Stampede? You were close. But
I have not. I think
seems like a good time.
Yeah, I've heard it's great. I think if you want anything to know anything on that, you have to ask Matt Dumba.
Yeah, good to know. Yeah,
nice little tease. I like that.
Yeah,
that seems like a solid guy's trip. Just do the Stampede, see what happens.
Yeah. Usually, I'm at the cabin that weekend. Once I get out there, I'm not leaving.
Wake surfer?
I'm more of like just the driver. I like to get everyone involved and float around. I'd definitely get on there, but I like to be in control of the boat.
You're just like the best human alive.
You call it cabin, not cottage.
No, cabin.
See, and he had a Doug Waite jersey. So you're an American
trapped in a Canadian's body.
You're trying to get out.
I've been here a while.
You can come out.
Played in Spokane my junior as well, so I've been here quite
won a Memorial Cup.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
So
no big deal.
winning the Memorial Cup, and obviously in the A you went almost all the way too. So like when you postseason versus regular season hockey, you've got this group, great room, great group of guys. What when you make that transition into the second season, what changes for you as a captain? Like, what do you it feels like you flip a switch, but what do you have to do differently?
I think like you prepare for it during the year, but at the same time, you just gotta stay calm. I think that's the hardest part with playoffs. You can get so worked up and overread things, and it doesn't matter if you lose in overtime or you get spanked 7-1 or you win 7-1 or win in overtime. The next game, it's a clean slate. So you definitely have to regroup quicker. You have to make adjustments quicker because you're playing that same team the next night or a night later, and it's just staying even keeled and not letting those emotions take over, but you still have to have them.
Is Kirill a cheat code?
Yes.
Like, how about that goal against the Stars off the back of the head of Ottinger?
The best.
Yeah. Like, does anybody else think like that?
There's just things he does that no one thinks of, whether it's just the way he can protect the puck, way he can make passes, just everything in his game. He's aggressive. He throws the body. He gets in there. He's not shy to get into those hard areas. But there's just today in practice, he's doing some stuff on the power play just with the way he accepts the pass, but at the same time he's protecting it, doing his little hip stuff that he can get around the puck so fast to shoot it and make himself a threat, whereas other guys might take another 2 to 5 seconds to get in that position. But I think the one thing with him is that he loves to work at it too. He's not just throwing himself out there and hoping something's going to happen that day. He's always working hard, and he's never satisfied.
On this podcast here, and Kirill creates moments, but we feel that the season often comes down to certain moments, and I think you created one this year. This is kind of in the Anaheim game, the back check play, diving, you caught Terry with the stick. Yeah, unbelievable moment. Like, is that stuff easy for you? Like, you recognize that spot? I understand that you're just playing the game in that moment, but like what's going through your head in those situations?
That one, just try and get as close as possible. I think I was pretty lucky. He sort of fumbled it just before that, but
he had no idea. Yeah. He had no idea you were there.
I was trying to keep my breathing real quiet when I was coming back.
you hit the turbo boosters?
Yeah, so early game, so I hadn't hit my nap yet. Had a lot of energy, but no, it was just one of those things where I was able to sort of turn and get a good couple first strides and catch up to him. When
you look at your career now, because I feel like careers are defined by moments too, is there a moment that stands out to you so far as like that's the moment, like that's kind of my hey, I've made it moment, or the things that you reflect on or something you reflect on?
I think one of the first ones was just Game 7 in Colorado, to being able to score a goal to tie it up late. That was sort of a crazy game, and it was such a fun series being back and forth, and then for Nino to go down and score to win that series. And I think that was the first year where you realize how hard the playoffs were, and just what you had to put in to get there. Obviously we were the underdog that time around, and Colorado had a great season, and it's just the way we matched up against them. We always had good games against them, and that was just one of the first ones in my career where I was very happy with the way things turned out.
Is that like a nice tequila? You get a taste of that moment, and then like now all of a sudden you want more?
Yes. Yeah. That's all you work for.
It's the best. It's funny, that moment, that playoff moment, it's like 100 regular season moments. Right?
Yeah.
And it's just, it's everything when you get there. What do you think of the reverse retros? Do you love? Is that your favorite, or?
Yeah, I'll give a shout to Tony. He didn't order any of us pants, so we have all the coveralls. So
really nice.
The only thing I don't like about.
Are you sure he just didn't order them for you?
I think it's me. Yeah, just me. But I love.
Not sure.
Yeah,
not sure.
I think the color's good. The pants this year are awesome, and just I've always liked that color scheme.
So those are shells with the stars on the breezers.
Yeah, there's a couple guys that have the what do you call those? Not the actual pants, the
cover.
Yeah, it's just underneath. What do you call?
Oh, I don't know what those are.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
So those are easy to change, but ours are the actual shells on top of the pants. But
awesome.
Next year he claims he's gonna.
He's got it. He's got it.
He's already ordered them. So
it's in the plan.
Mine are probably for
He's going to have to come on the pod, man. He's just getting
Tony.
Garen beats up on Spurgey. Spurgeon just pounds DaCosta.
Yeah, well,
DaCosta kicks his dog. What are we going to do?
He got me early, so now I can get back.
Yeah, nobody takes more heat than Tony DaCosta.
Yeah,
No.
that is true.
Well, it sounds like Middleton skates are all screwed up.
Yeah.
Well,
What's the guy going to do?
Tony. That's on
What's he
Tony.
going to do? He's doing the best he can.
That's on Tony. Well, let's work the system a little bit because those reverse retros are cool, and the podcast would love a pair of those gloves. So tell Tony to order a new pair, bring your old pair up, throw them on the desk, and we'll know what to do with them.
Yeah, that would be great.
We're running out of time, so appreciate it. Thanks for coming up. We've got to get you back. I'm real nervous now. If you're not back by 1 o'clock, then all of a sudden you're never going to talk to us again.
That's only on game days.
That's only on game days. Okay.
Okay. You don't nap on a practice day?
No, I'll be out there shoveling right now.
Yeah.
We got a nice snowstorm.
You got to get that rink going, the Dragon's Lair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Melt it right down.
All right, I got 75 shovels and a bunch of snowblowers. You need help today, let me know.
Okay, well, we'll switch. We'll go back and forth.
Yeah. All right, thanks for stopping by, buddy.
being here,
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we guys.
You think you could find a nicer human than Jared Spurgeon?
It's funny when people ask me what I was like. I was saying like words. I was like, he's kind.
The meanest thing he said was when he entertains people, he really just doesn't give them a choice on the food that and stuff that he just has whatever there.
I'm still shocked.
Like
that
that's
they
the
cook
meanest.
all that stuff.
That's like the meanest thing that he has ever said.
Do you think? What's his wife's name again?
Danielle.
Do you think Danielle knows? Like you could cater.
They're just nice.
I know, but they're cooking
They're not
all
going to
that
cater.
stuff.
They're
It's-
probably so nice that they don't want to have to make somebody else do that on Thanksgiving. That's how nice they are.
It felt like he preferred the ham to the turkey. Did you get that vibe a little bit?
No, but what we forgot to ask is, did anybody throw a ham?
I don't think they did. I don't think they did. He's a gentleman and a scholar, Jared Spurgeon. And he seems clean too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I didn't smell him or anything, but I think he would smell crisp.
I also love that because I am curious what Middleton was like on the ice, but now I'm keeping a close eye on
Whining
his
his
equipment.
basically said he
issues.
just
His
whines
skates
all
are
the time.
terrible. He's
He's like, it's no good.
I
He's
didn't
like,
see that coming.
he's like Cougar in Top Gun.
I didn't
Like,
see that
it's no
coming.
good.
Yeah.
It's no good.
So we're at the almost just a couple games shy of the halfway point of the season. So we should take a look back at our bold predictions from the beginning of the year and see how we're tracking along.
Yep. Alternate.
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. I said the PP will be a top 10 in the NHL.
How you doing?
Well, it's pretty good. I think it's hovering around that. I haven't checked the stats from today, but it was 11. It's been as high as, top single digits, top 5 at times. I think they got the second best power play at home. That was 32%. And that was like 17% on the road, but averaging over 20 some percent. So yeah, I mean, that one's totally feasible right there. The power play. I mean, as long as Zuccarello isn't out long, and they continue to score at the clip that they're on, I think it'll be a top 10 PP. So boom, that one on track.
So now that I know you already got one in the clubhouse on mine, there's no reason to waste it's like a shootout. I said Rossi will have 30 points. That's not doing great so far. Now there's still some time left. There's still some time left. So then 1-0.
Okay. Erickson-Ek wins the Selke.
He's not going to win the Selke. He's having a hell of a year. But I've been even looking at these mid-season reports, and he's not even on there.
I don't know who the favorites are. I think you're probably right. He doesn't, but I wouldn't say that he's fully out of it either. So
true. It's his best season he's ever had right now.
Yeah, and he's trending towards it. I still think that like the face-off prowess isn't there. He needs to get up to like 55 or 56%. He gains like 1% improvement every year from his rookie year till now in average.
He's in play.
I'll
give you a half for that.
He's got to get. He's the scoring's there actually. He outscored the last couple. O'Reilly, Bergeron, those guys. He's outproduced in terms of goals. Those guys. So I mean, the offense is there for him to win the Selke now, which is weird because it's a defensive category, a defensive award. But you have to score. It's like the best forward that plays defense,
but also scores.
Yeah.
Wallstead will play in Minnesota often. We also have like Gus is just doing great. By the way, I didn't know what Gus looked like till yesterday. I had never seen him. ever. And I do not think I'm alone. I think like if you were to have a picture of Gus and show Wild fans, I think not even 1 out of 10 knows that he's the goalie that's like 11-2 or whatever for us. But so I did get to see what he looks like. So I don't think the big Swede's going to be coming up anytime soon. So I'm 0 for 2. Tough start.
Wild will lead the league in penalties and minutes.
Yeah.
So that one's in the bag right now. At the halfway point, they're leading. My argument just a little bit ago was that they probably
got to take the foot off the gas on the coaching staff a little bit.
Well, just on taking those penalties. I think that will help them not take so many penalties and get them off because they're getting frustrated from those lack of calls against, too. I think they just want it to be even. But yeah, so that one's looking pretty solid, too.
Mine's related. 97 will have a fight and win. I don't hate this one, especially after a game like last night where he just the tongue was out of the mouth. I mean, how much they worked Kirill, and I think he wants to stand up for himself, and I think he wants to show somebody he can stand up for himself.
So. Back to me wanting
I'm not saying this is
me wanting Erickson-Ek to do something similar. You think Kirill has it, Ek doesn't?
I think
standing up for themselves.
I think Kirill's got the Ovechkin gear where like when he gets in a fight, he's going to beat someone up.
Yeah, got it.
No offense to Erickson-Ek. Jesus, now I'm beating up on Erickson-Ek. No, but I just think that it could happen. We kind of saw a glimpse of it a couple years ago when his helmet was off and he was kind of on top of that dude. But I'd still like to see it. I don't want anything to happen.
6 20-plus goal scorers for the Wild. So to be on pace, we would need
you got
6
Kirill.
And
you're going to have Zucchi.
Kirill, Zucchi. Yeah. And then Boldy is there. Freddie Gaudreau is there. And then I think that's where I get in trouble. So I'm short on that one right now. The scoring's going to have to pick up. So missing that one, at least right now. And if I were to have to place another bet double down, I don't think I'd double down on that one.
I got Boldy with 80 points. This is the Kevin Fiala eraser. I don't hate this. He's a little streaky, so he'll really kind of be rolling with multi-point games, and he starts to be at that point a game level, and then he kind of drops off for a couple games. But I think it's still possible.
My final one. And there's a legitimate case for this. This award will be, I don't know, but Dean Evason to win the Jack Adams. And
he hasn't been on the list either, and I was surprised by that.
It amazes me, and it'll depend on how the teams finish and how things go down the stretch. But for the Wild to be in the spot that they are right now, short the money that they are in the salary cap.
Injuries.
Yes, managing all of that situation, changing the game, the style of play that they've had, maintaining culture.
Those centers.
Doing all of this stuff. The power play has improved. Like, he's done so many of the things that he's wanted to do and that the club has needed, and he's gotten them from the club. It's amazing what he's been able to do, and if he isn't like on the short list for the Jack Adams, let alone win it, when you factor all of that stuff in, I don't know, man. And I understand that award is going to go to probably Montgomery and in Boston or Winnipeg, the teams that really are kind of surprising and running away with it. But what Dean has done here is pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, he deserves it. My last one was win a playoff series, which is it ties back to the Spurgeon interview when he talked about you asked him his greatest moment, and he was talking about I think the tying goal against Colorado, and then Niederreiter ends up winning the game 7. It really is all that matters is those playoff moments. So if we can end someone this year, hold the pillow on some other team, I think that would be a really satisfying start to progress. Get that playoff round victory and many more rounds, I hope to.
I like it. Bold predictions. I think they're going pretty well.
You're doing better than me. There was a reason you've been waiting. Almost every week you've been like, we should revisit bold predictions. That means that you're doing well.
I didn't know how I was doing. I couldn't remember my bold predictions. I had to put it on paper. Yeah.
Mine are not great. But if Kirill beats someone up, like in New York, I mean, who knows? All bets are off at that point.
Yeah, well, it seems like your bold predictions could use some work, and you might need to reconstruct some of these. So maybe you can call our friends at Wild Construction. They're specialists in roof, siding, windows. I didn't know this, and no, the Minnesota Wild are not getting into the construction game. Wild Construction is getting into the podcast sponsorship game. Boom, and we are stoked about that one. But if you have siding issues, you need new windows, let's say you're like me and your humidifier went bananas and now your windows rotted out for some reason, Wild Construction can replace those in the winters. Give them a call. Their specialty is roofs. They're a GAF Master Elite Asphalt Shingle retailer and offer the best warranties in the industry. Only 2% of contractors get invited into that program. Free estimates, go to wildconstructionmn.com. Wild Construction will make it happen.
Good job.
Thanks.
Do you think they could construct a puck wall?
Yeah, they could construct a puck wall. They could put nice siding on there. They could probably insulate the back side of it, maybe put some nice windows in front so people can't steal those pucks.
We've been asked, we're both White Bear people. Hockey Day is coming to White Bear Lake, and it's the last week to sell these pucks on the puck wall. I'm going to buy one. You going to buy one?
I would like my name on the puck wall, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to buy one. Any listeners that are White Bear people or you just like the pod and you want to support Hockey Day in the Wild, hockeydaymn.com. Buy a puck for the puck wall. Let's get them over the finish line. They reached out to us. They're kind of at the 11th hour. I think they're trying to make the state of Minnesota with the pucks. So if they're a few short, it's going to look like Iowa or something. So I think we need to sell all these pucks for the puck wall.
Yeah. So what it is, it's an outline of Minnesota. You'll get a puck and you'll engrave it with whatever you want, and then that will go into the display, and that display will be at one of the arenas around White Bear Lake. So it's going to be awesome. I was given one as a gift. That's a good idea too. Even if you don't want El Rey on it, you could buy one for your kid. Your kid plays in White Bear or Hill Murray, or they're a part of the day, and you want them to see that forever in that arena. Boom, buy one for the puck wall. hockeydaymn.com. You can pick up your tickets there too. It's going to be a great day. I've already started my prep. I'm calling that game White Bear Lake Hill Murray. Talked to both coaches, Lechner. He's a good dude. Yeah, Sager. I think they're both pretty excited for it. So it's going to be a great game.
Should be good. I'm nervous. I usually get too excited on weekends like that.
You shouldn't be nervous. Speaking of nerves, we checked in with our boy Rat.
And he's not nervous.
He's not nervous right now. We're going to dump the audio of that at the end of this episode so you can get it. But our boy Rat, who's a friend of the program, he's really gone through a therapy session with the podcast, and it's working. The podcast is working where it's let's enjoy the ride. Let's not be all in or all out on this, man. It's a fun roller coaster. Give us an update on Rat.
Yeah, the everyman. If an everyman was a rat, this is Beer League Rat. He was our spirit animal 2 years ago. He just told us to enjoy the ride, and then he got a little skittish. He did definitely dive headfirst off the bandwagon multiple times, which he refers to in this latest interview. This is Rat, and we're here
till it's here.
Bye. Hey, buddy, how are you? It's going good. We thought we'd check in at the pod just because we dropped those 2 games, the Wild, Blues and Buffalo. Are you still bullish? How are you feeling about things?
I've been thinking a lot about my past comments and how fast I am to jump off the bandwagon. So I'm like, this time around, I think the coaches and the GMs, they did. Obviously, I knew they knew what they were doing before, but I think after the whole season's been going on, I don't think it's time to worry about it really right now.
Yeah, so we got Carter's here actually. We got a bit of a gauntlet. We got to go Rangers, Islanders, come home, play Arizona. Then we got Capitals, Hurricanes, Florida. We're going to be on the road about 6 out of 7. What do we want to expect out of that stretch?
Well, I think that you can look at that real quick and go, oh, they're in a lot of trouble here. But once you start playing the games one at a time, breaking it down, and not looking forward, I think that they're going to be just fine there.
There you go.
They'll probably be 2 games above 500 on that.
I like it. See, this is good. It's good that I feel like you're in a safe place now, Rat. You're back in a good mental state. You're not twitchy. Yeah. You're not twitchy. You're back to the spirit animal we knew you could be.
Yeah, that's taking a deep breath, just relaxing, just let it all play out in front of you, and you kind of just can see it happening. So
I love it, man.
We need the big guy to get going, though. I mean, I don't know what's going on with that guy.
97?
No, the big 18. I mean,
Greenway. Greenway. You want more out of Jordan?
Greenway. Yeah, I don't know.
Karts, you got a question for him?
Yeah. So, I first of all, I like that you're just going for you're along for the ride. I think no matter how it goes, you're on this bus and you're going to hang on it. 20 games till the deadline. If you're Bill Guerin, as you're walking through the aisles of the grocery store looking for a bargain deal, what do you think Bill Guerin needs to pick up by the deadline?
That's a tough one. Probably a center of some sort, but they're not really easy to find. And I don't know about Zook's injury, but maybe you might want to find someone to get up there too. So I'm not too sure about Zook.
What have you seen?
He's coming back. If he's coming back, I don't think you just need one more forward to solidify that, a veteran.
So they need one more scoring forward, because have we learned anything with Zuccarello out of the lineup? I mean, there's no doubt that I think the Wild have missed him, but does that make you panic?
You learn that
lose him?
You need him in there to make all the lines really work. Take one guy out and it affects everything. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at with Zook. But I don't know if you can find someone like that, or even who's available. Well,
I like that you're bullish. We're gonna be okay. We'll hold each other's hands. We're walking towards the light. It's gonna be fine. Thanks for checking in, Rat.
Yeah, no problem, guys.
Peace, buddy.
Have a good one.
Bye.